AG1 is so
Don't worry, just 1 second, everyone, and I will be with you. Dang, Big Daddy, I haven't even turned the thing on. $5 from Big Daddy says, make a ultimate recovery build for the new class. Man, it's crazy. I haven't even turned the thing on yet. I have to figure out which button I have to press. It always confuses me live streaming. And I don't want to take you guys into the wrong, window. What if you guys, I accidentally flipped to my computer, and then my computer is just filled with like pictures of toes, with a bunch of toe jam and stuff. I'd be like, oh, how did this get here? I don't know. It's always a fear. But as you can see, we've invested in a pop filter just for you guys. Does it work? No clue. I also realized my controller is awkwardly over here. Don't look at me. I'm only turning this on so quickly because you guys already started to chat so fast before I even did anything commendable. Not that I do a whole lot of commendable things anyhow. The Arcanist will be an interesting build. I don't know if it's going to need an ultimate recovery build, truthfully. I think it's going to benefit the most from like channeled abilities, like sets like Deadly. Throw that on there, and you're going to really be doing a whole lot with your channeled abilities. And you became a legend member? Oh my gosh. You guys are crazy. This isn't a, members only stream. You're the, paid stream. I appreciate it. Is it the Liverpool jersey? Is that what it is? I had somebody subscribe just because of the Liverpool jersey. Granted, I probably also lost subscribers for being a Liverpool fan, but you take it where you can. How's it going, Evil Blue Knight? Oh, I forgot. I need to turn you guys to this screen so that hopefully the chat box decides to work today. Have you had a good day? I have, Danny. Got to go fast, says Big Daddy. It's just we're trying to hit some PRs here. Hopefully, your guys' chats will start, slopping in. Here, ooh, there's a new arms pack. But guys, you guys know what that means. What does it mean? This is a pop quiz. What does it mean when there's an arms pack? What does it mean when there's an arms pack in the Crown Store? Pop quiz. First person to get it correct gets a ham sandwich. Liverpool, says Corrupt Snake with a angry looking emote. Home farming, there you go. Kennerith. That is exactly the answer I wanted to hear. Now please give me your personal information and I'll send you the ham sandwich. Now, why is helm farming so good is because, well, it's exceptionally profitable And it's one of the only ways that PvE players who are doing like dungeons, like 4-man content, can actually really get a lot of money. I mean, obviously doing hard mode guarantees you to get a motive, but not a lot of dungeons have motives that are necessarily worth farming. My cat is sniffing my pop filter. What are you doing? What are you doing? Sorry, she's being a doofus. It means there are more microtransactions. That is a good secondary answer. What are you doing? Also, this is kind of a stream where you guys can tell me how my filter's working, because I had to change some of my audio things around, so we can see how it kind of is going. My cat is sitting in the most... she's not even sitting. She's just like stand laying. You guys can see her right here. Oh, now she's deciding to move. I put her little basket like right behind me. That way she could be in her basket and you guys could watch her. Now, granted, she's a void. You can see the void is right here. Is the void right here? Yes, it is. So that's the void back there. I'm going to try to just keep adjusting, maybe tweaking some audio settings around every so often. But also wanted to kind of touch base as to where we are with the list that you guys gave me. Thank you for the follow, Steeler2525. I'm PvP with all sets that summon, very fun. Do you mean like you use like the sets that summon like extra monsters and stuff? Like when you use your PvE setups like a pet build? I feel like I'm saying so many P's. I hope this pop filter works. Tried to get modus for the helm. Did hard mode 57 times, not even one. Since then, I'm just trying to profit off the shoulders. That is terrible luck. Now, what I have found when it comes to 4-man helm farming is that you get 4 friends. Now, for me, this can be difficult. But if you can find 3 other silly gooses to work with you, you can, redo at least, when there's all of us, resplit the money. So say one of us gets a helmet that's worth 2 million gold, everyone then gets 500k. So that way it's the luck of 4 people versus, one poor bastard who, might, be the an unlucky son of a bitch. I mean, I used to shiny hunt farm on Pokemon, and sometimes you get it right away. Other times it could take you thousands of attempts. Unfortunately, that's the problem when you RNG as one person. That's why I prefer to RNG as multiple people, if you can. Oh, I have my wrong mount set. I missed my mount farming video or mount video earlier. I forgot actually the one that I use. Yeah, it's this one. Listen, I'm just a big fan of Meridia. So when the Meridian mount came out, this is the only time I've ever gone for an Apex mount ever. Because normally I just use the Griffin because I didn't care how my mount looked, but then when they put that one out, I was like, you sons of bitches, you got me. It's like when the cigarette commercials finally appeal to you, or like a beer commercial. You're like, well, I'm not an alcoholic, but you got me. I'll try out your drink. Maybe they put out a flavor that just finally gets you. That's what happened when they put out this mount into the Crown Store for me, and they got me. The only other things I usually actually get with Crown Gems are usually the motive books, just because I find that they're like a great money saver essentially, because books especially can be worth like millions of gold. So being able to get one of those for free can be very time saving, cost saving, especially depending on if you're like me and you're trying to passively collect all of the motives in the game, and you're not doing the greatest a job at it. In my defense, though, I was like, I'll go hard during the Jubilee event this year, and I did, but I also lost some time by going to their event in Vegas. So I'm going to list up, I think I have extra stuff in my inventory to list, but I could be wrong. I was trying to clear out some of my stuff. Afternoon, how's it going, Jax? Trying to clear out a lot of my stuff and things. Also don't know if there's Twitch drops enabled. I don't think there are right now, but somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. We did also just do our application to the ESO stream team, so wish me luck. I'm not a smoker, but I do miss cigarette commercials. I like to watch those old commercials on YouTube. Sometimes they were wild. Yes, they were. To be fair, a lot of commercials back in the day were wild. Hey, Twitch chat, take this. What are they taking? Also, I'm not sure why there's like a delay for YouTube chat. I don't know what the bias is towards Twitch chat, but you can tell that Streamlabs works significantly better with Twitch than YouTube. What do we want to sell? Let me see what I have in my actual bank. You upgraded to Legend level 3. You're a mad lad. An absolute mad lad. Although I am crazy. Curious why it didn't pop up the little event thing. Alert box. Did it go? Did I miss it? I have my thing on mute, so I never see these things, but I appreciate it. I'm sure that it's... Well, it popped up in the intermission chat. Now it popped up in the thing. That's so weird. Level 2, paid to win. Hi, guy. How's it going? Rusted? Really, my goal right now is just clean out some stuff. Talk with you guys. Talk about the stuff coming up. See what your guys' thoughts are on video ideas. Things that you might like. Things that you might want to see. Things that you guys are like, no, don't do that. I was just wondering too, like which of these maps I should do versus just sell. Sometimes I feel like that's the harder question to answer. How does the audio sound, by the way? So we have the new pop filter on, so I like added a little bit of boost. So please let me know if there's any problems at all. I'm also going to close out all my windows too, so there shouldn't be any lag or latency or anything bad happening. But welcome, everyone. I love your videos about hidden things. Interesting. So I've been trying to brainstorm recently about what are some new hidden type things that I could do videos on, like hidden areas, hidden books, hidden achievement rewards. Like I'm trying to think of new things to sell, or not sell, but like, I don't know why I said sell. There, I'm trying to focus on, but it's always so hard to know like what people find the most interesting. Oh, Citizen asks, anyone have a bug where during the Arcanist quest you fight the champion and the champion is just inactive and cannot be interacted with? Is that on the PTS? The audio sounds great to me. No problems at all. I can hear you perfectly. Well, that's good. How long should I wait to sell my shoulder motive for monster styles? Do you have any recommendations? So I have a very general recommendation, and that is list it up for what you want it for, because a lot of times I think people will be like, oh, well, there's 10 shoulders listed for a price that I don't want to get. But in 30 days, all 10 of those may sell, and you might be able to get your wish price, like your price that you want listed immediately. So I'm a huge proponent of leaving items up and listed pretty much around the clock. But that's just kind of my take on it, because I think that, and especially when there's ones with high demand, like I'm thinking like Valken Scoria shoulders, which is like a beautiful shoulder piece, right? Just absolutely majestic. There's going to be high demand for it. If you yourself before the event were looking and it was like $1 million gold for the shoulder or 4 million for the helmet, and you thought, yeah, you know, I want 4 million gold for this, list it up for 4 million, because you might be able to get it immediately when it comes to high demand ones. Now, when it's low demand, that's where I'm a huge proponent of about 30 to 45 days, but I would still encourage you to list it up. Unless it's going to have like a crazy high listing fee, don't feel afraid to just throw it up there. You might, at one point, you might be the only one. The reason why I think that 30 to 45 days is so crucial, though, is that's when all of those listings that were lower than yours, because those are people who were listing them up, as they were getting them, theirs are going to be taken off the market, and yours would then have a higher chance to be the only one on there. But as Lucasm is, saying correctly, it is also very random. 6 months is a good timeline too, especially if you're thinking like event ones, like Opal style pages usually have regained a lot of their value like 6 months in the future. The problem is that, so there's always something really interesting that happens, and what I've noticed is that when people are looking at motifs and talking about them, you see a higher demand for those motifs. So even if the Opal pages, say ZeniMax was like, next week the Undaunted event starts. Obviously this isn't happening, just bear with me. More people are going to be thinking about those motifs, and their value is actually going to go up, even though you could go out and farm them in a week, because more people are looking at them, more people are thinking about them. Because style pages are not usually purchased year-round, sometimes they don't have a lot of that same value for that same kind of reason. It's one of those interesting kind of economic things that not a lot of people talk about, but it's also a little bit convoluted to also like explain very well also, unfortunately. So hopefully that made sense. The economies of ESO and other games is very unique, and ESO especially is very unique. Is there anything in the guild bank too? Because a lot of times people just throw all sorts of gobbledygook in here. Sometimes I try to list it, keep the free guild trader going. All right. So yeah, that's my general recommendation for selling. And if you've got something that's like going to be in demand here soon, and if you were thinking to yourself, well, Jake, what's going to be in demand? Well, you always want to be thinking from a buyer's perspective. Think to yourself, if you were on the market right now, or a brand new player or a returning player, what are the first things that you're going to buy? You're going to buy consumables like XP potions. You might buy like tri-stat potions. You're going to buy probably training gear. You might buy specific sets that are, geared towards like, easy PvE content, easy PvP content, just like easy sets to kind of use and kind of complete without spending a fortune. You want to try to get in the mindset of like, what are people going to want that I can sell to them? And almost think of yourself as like a flea market, you're like, here's all my shit. You might need some of this stuff because I needed it a while ago. I needed XP potions for a while, so here, take some of these. Or, think this AP, event coming up. People might want, AP stuff. Like I can't think of the name off the top of my head that'll give you extra AP experience. Thanks for the advice. I'm new to the ESO economy and guild sales. It's kind of confusing at first. Your videos help out a lot. It is 100% confusing. I wholeheartedly agree with you, and I'm wondering if this is a scammer. So, So, for a while, there was this individual who made a brand new like zero gamer score account. Now, for those of you who don't know what gamer score is like, basically it's like, hey, this person has been playing, for a while. They have these achievements. This is how much those achievements cumulatively are worth. And somebody made a bot that would go from zone to zone to zone, and it would ask for like, hey guys, can you guys give me some soul gems? Or it would say like, hey guys, can you spare some dragon's blood? Stuff that was worth like not a whole lot, but like if you had thousands of it, it would be worth a lot. And they made like a killing. It was the craziest thing. So yeah, like for some reason, people feel the need to set up bots that do that. What are your thoughts on why people don't make videos about ESO achievement? Tons of people make them on WoW and Guild War 2s. Haven't seen much on Sator achievements either. I don't know. Because I've done achievement videos and they've done well, but honestly, I think like a lot of ESO content creators have like a decent niche. Ooh, I keep messing up my own pop filter. They have a specific niche that they're looking to fill, you know, when it comes to content creation. Like, you know, for example, people may watch them for PvP content. People may watch them for PvE builds. People may watch them, you know, you yourselves will probably watch me for like introductory guides, you know, gold making guides, you know, so on and so forth. So I think that a lot of them just don't focus on that type of content is probably my answer. You know, for example, sometimes when you guys are like, hey, Jake, can you make a 1-bar Necromancer build? I'm like, I don't know how to tell you guys this, but I don't really play the Necromancer very much. I can certainly try, but I am not an expert by any means. So that's where I think that it just comes down to people's niches and whatnot, and everyone focuses on something different. You know what I mean? I've got a video idea. I always struggle when I find those writs that are worth a bit more. I never know how to price when I want to sell them. So writ books are interesting when it comes to selling. And I actually have quite a few right now. What I would suggest, this is my suggestion. Come in close, everyone, when it comes to your writ books. Save these for the Zenthar event. At some point this year, they're going to do the Zenthar event, and every single one of these will be worth buku bucks. Save them. Put them in a box somewhere. Keep them safe. Because we are guaranteed to get another Zenthar event, I believe. And during the Zenthar event, for those of you who may not know, think back to the Jubilee event where every single daily quest that you did, you got a reward box. Well, the Zenthar event, every single writ book you get will give you a reward box. And the drops from the Zenthar boxes are worth more, with the better, like on average item drops, than the Jubilee boxes. So I actually encourage you guys to save all of those, or if you do want to sell them, because you know you might need money to feed your skooma addiction or whatever, you can sell them before the event when everyone's buying them at like ridiculous rates. That's a good idea for videos. Best things to sell for like all categories, like weapons and armor. I try to always do like a market watch video. Sometimes I'll title it different things because I found that market watch is just not a very appealing title, because a lot of people are like, I don't really care what's selling this month. But I have found that a lot of people, if I make a title like how to get rich in May, you know, they'll be like, I want to get rich in May. And I'm like, here, sell these things. You know, buy these things, hold on to these things. So that's why I try to tweak the videos. Now, granted, I try not to make them clickbait, and I apologize ahead of time if you think they are. But what I will say is the title is accurate. When I say things like how to get rich in April, the advice is there, you know, to get rich in April. I just don't have those boring like market watch. The playlist will still be market watch, but the title will be a little bit more umphy. ESO videos are only on three things. One 1vx videos, true. Build videos, and then ESO is dead videos. Accurate. That's amazing. Definitely a decent video. Thank you. Zombie Jesus, that's a very accurate assessment. Or I've quit ESO. I've played for 10 bajillion hours and I'm quitting. Now, maybe I'm biased, but like, I don't know. I just love playing ESO. Like, it's so peaceful. You know, you work a hard job, you come home, you load up ESO. Why are you not happy? You're playing a video game with your homies. You know, like, there's so much things you could do. You could literally dedicate a whole day to grinding a card game. You could dedicate a whole day to PvP, PvE, doing a rotation, grinding gold. You know, you could, that's why I love MMOs. It's not like you're just like loading up and doing one specific thing. Like, you know, for example, if I was like playing like Call of Duty Warzone 2 with my friends and, you know, I wanted to blow my brains out, there's only one thing we're doing, and that's playing Warzone. You know, where the goal is the #1 victory boy, yeah, that's the whole goal. Same when you play Fortnite. You know, I won't do it again. I can't do that to myself. But you see my point. Like, there's one specific way that you guys all have to play together. When you have games like ESO, you could do anything. You could go on a craft. We could freaking decorate our houses for 2 hours. You know, there's no pressure to do anything. There's no pressure of like, oh my gosh, I need to like, you know, if I'm loading up, you know, Warzone, I have to like make the best gun loadout ever because one gun was nerfed and one was buffed and I'm about to be aimbotted by 50 people. You know, I could literally go to my house right now and then just sit and organize the books. I could just read the books in my house. You know, I could just spend a whole day just dicking around reading The Lusty Argonian Maid, Volume 1 and 2. I forgot 4. Immortal Solo Unkillable Builds. That's also very true. I've never really liked the unkillable build like type mentality when it comes to like PvP. But I mean, like, I get it. Like, I understand. Like, some people like to just be alive and just be there. And that's their contribution. So I get it. I just try to talk about things that I feel like I'm confident in, or help a guy out. How much gold do you need to win some of these guild traders? Are you on a Xbox, Rick, or are you on a PlayStation or EUNA and then PC? Also, thank you guys, everyone that stopped by, liked the stream, you know, came over, watched it. I appreciate all of you. So, like, for example, like, I could spend my whole day, if I wanted to, just decorating this house. Like, you can see, this is all made, by the way. Like, this room's not even normally here. You know, all these books are manually lined up. You know, this is just, like, the bullshit that you could spend your days doing. By the way, you know, if you want these books, you're going to get a whole lot of them, you know, during Mid-Year Mayhem. So, stay tuned. Woo! Have you ever wanted to know what the song, you know, Pelennor is, you know? You could know. PCNA, I would say that if you're going for a refuge, like that's like in the towns, in the little like, I would say you probably have to bid between 1 and 2 million gold. If you're trying to do like an overland one on like a DLC's like area, I would say you probably need to bid somewhere between 5 and 10 million. And then after that, it's going to be like ludicrous levels of money. Also, by the way, just as a reminder, my cat's right here. If you guys want to see the Void get pet, you know, there it is. This could earn me some more likes or subscribers. There you go. Just petted the Void for you. I have played multiple MMOs. I noticed that there are never MMO compared videos. ESO compared to WoW, WoW compared to Guild Wars 2, Sator compared to ESO, etc. Sorry, I got distracted. Because Zombie's comment got deleted, and then I had to reinstate it because my filters are ridiculous sometimes. Sorry, Zombie. It should pop up here. I think it's just because I have seen them. I just don't think they do well. So from a content creator's perspective, if you guys want to know some secrets, right, I'll give you the juicy scoop. Listen, you're not going to hear this anywhere else, so still sit down. YouTube is very picky about who it pushes your videos to. What does that mean? It means that if you, like, say you made a YouTube channel and you made videos on No Man's Sky, right? And then you tried to do a video on ESO. Well, YouTube is going to look at how many of your No Man's Sky, like people who subscribe for that content, watch your ESO video, and they're going to go, not a lot of people watch this. We're not going to push this to new people. We're not going to push this to a wider audience. That's why you can tell where, so if you've ever heard a content creator who's been like, it's unsubscribing, you guys, I don't know what's happening. It's actually YouTube trying to help those content creators, because every time I upload a video that doesn't get like a decent chunk of you guys to watch it, it will not be pushed, to new people. It used to be why I was a little bit cautious about making videos about, gobbledygook, but honestly, like, and truthfully, like, I don't run this like a business. Even if a few of you find a video topic helpful, I don't mind making it. It's to me, it's not about, getting the most amount of subscribers and the most amount of money and blah, blah, blah in the shortest amount of time. It's about having fun and about, just talking to you guys about stuff like this. But that's why you'll notice a lot of content creators don't branch out very far. And when they do, it can be very risky. I mean, look at Brawry Got This. That was a very big content shift. And I think it's going to take him a while for his audience to readjust to a complete content shift. But it also is the same with video games. How many ESO players play No Man's Sky? I was talking about Warzone earlier. Do you play Warzone? You can think to that, see, yourself in your head, so that's why it can be risky to talk about different games while being a specific content creator. People bitch about ESO, for example, but never really compare what it does bad compared to others. I think that's a very fair point. I think that's a hugely fair point. A lot of people will just kind of bash ESO, but I don't think they offer a lot of solutions. And at least in my line of work, I'm very solution based. So like, for example, when I was speaking to the devs about like things that I thought would be helpful, it was not just, hey, this is bad. It was, hey, you should add this. And I'll give you guys some examples in a second. I want to make sure I read all your questions, though. If you were a brand new level 50 character, how would you go about starting your process, gearing out? Where would you go first? If I was on a brand new character and I was, just trying to figure out what to do, I would craft myself or ask somebody to craft me some armor. So say, for example, you don't know anybody. The first thing I would do if you're like a brand spanking new account is go look for guilds, guild finder, look for some social guilds, try to get someone to craft you something. Usually you can find people to craft you items. I would at least, try to get level 10 armor. Then to level up to level 10, you could go to the Alakir Desert to get to level 10. What I would suggest you wear is Heartland and Twiceborn. So I am also somebody who loves to level up doing Battlegrounds. So I actually would get Heartlands in I would get the Heartland weapon trait as sharpened, and then I would get Twiceborn because then I can have 2 Mundus Stones effective at the same time, and that's not going to devalue as you level up. And I would slap on those. I do Alakir till I get to level 10. Then I would queue for Battlegrounds. And in between queuing for Battlegrounds, I probably would do some zone story quests. So sometimes I have this tendency to just go to zones where I want to have more sticker book done, but I don't. A good example of that might be like Blackwood. For a while, I didn't have a lot of the Frostbite set, so I thought, well, I'll just play the zone on a new character, and like I'll just pick up chests every so often, and I'll get little itty bitty quest rewards I can deconstruct, bind it to the sticker book, basic stuff. That's obviously not the most efficient way to do it, but it's a way where you can like do some Battlegrounds, do some quests, find some chests in the overworld. I just think it's overall kind of fun, Make a video of you rolling in all that YouTube cheddar. You guys saw that I bought, the little like cat little waterfall thing, so now the water is in a bowl and it like flows. So this little void demon right here, she gets to have some nice water every day. Maybe yeah. What my promise is that every time I buy something with my YouTube money, I would I'd show you guys what it was. Admittedly, though, that's pretty much going to Las Vegas. That was the big purchase, And then talking to the developers, that was a big one. I'm a weird ESO player. I play Star Citizen and Counter-Strike. I think a lot of people are, though. Honestly, actually, I'll show you what I play. You guys can judge me live. Did I just get a notification for something? Oh, somebody invited me to Rainbow Six. So I play Warzone. Battlefield, Chivalry, Dauntless, FIFA, ESO, Medieval Dynasty, Hogwarts Legacy, Gang Beasts, Forza, Fortnite, Fallout 76, Mountain Lord Banner, No Man's Sky, Stellaris, and Surviving the Aftermath. So, I mean, like, I definitely love strategy games. I think that, like, Surviving the Aftermath, Stellaris, Mountain Blade, like, those are my, like, go-to videos. Or not videos, but, like, go-to, like, games to play when it comes to, like, strategy. Medieval Dynasty also. I love sets that have a named buff/debuff for my low levels. It doesn't get weaker as you level up. That's why I love Twiceborn, because the Mundus Stone does it, and you can also tweak the Mundus Stone. You know, for example, if you use the Mundus Stone, you can get the Steed Mundus, and that will make your character faster. So if you're a brand new character, that can be so nice. Main point of ESO videos is like the Crown Store is cancer, but they don't compare it to in-game shops. So like WoW, Final Fantasy, or Sator. It's FF Final Fantasy, and then Sator's Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's been a while. My games are Magic the Gathering, League of Legends on the cell phone, and Zenith sometimes on VR. I actually don't know what Zenith is. I know what MTG is. I believe that's Magic the Gathering. Granted, that could be something else. Steed Mundus is my favorite. So that's exactly why on a brand new character, the Steed Mundus, it could be so helpful. This is a hot take. I actually don't have a problem with the Crown Store. Oh, here we go. We're going to relist all this gobbledygook. This is what happens when you get the same Plague Break. I got so many shields. It's so hard to sell when you have the exact same item. Like 15 times. Would I recommend on a solo Magplar? It's going to depend a lot on the content that you want to do. PvP, PvE, Arena, obviously, stuff like that. So if you want, I could try to give you some general guidance, but I also will be the first to admit that I don't really play a Templar as a Mag character. I have a Stamplar, but not a Mag one. But I can do my bestest. I also do plan to make that PvP video. You guys may know I have the list. Part 2 will be sets to wear. And I think that I plan to make it very simple. And you guys can tell me if you guys think this is stupid. So I break down sets into 2 categories. Ones that keep you alive, and ones that make others not alive. So I almost compare them to like defense versus offensive sets. And that might seem so simplistic to you. And it was simplistic to me, but I was like trying to think of ways that you would categorize a set. But really, if it's like giving you sustain, or it's giving you mobility, you know, it's giving you all these things, I would consider those all either defensive or offensive things in a capacity. You know, if it's giving you armor resistance, if it's giving you the ability to do more damage, you know, those are all things that are within those 2 categories. I think movement speed is probably the only one in my head that kind of could be either defensive or offensive. But honestly, I would say it was both. You know, being able to go into combat faster, being able to pull out of combat faster, defensive, offensive. WoW has mounts you need to buy 6, now 12 months of subs to get. Yeah, I think that, I don't think a lot of people compare ESO like monetization very fairly, but it's just so hard to say because it's such a touchy subject. I was actually asking people what their thoughts of like crown crates were when I was in Vegas, and you can tell it's a very touchy subject, and I was like, woo, I don't want to lose that many subscribers. What do you guys think of that breakdown, though? PvP sets. Ones that keep you alive, and ones that make others not alive. Do you think it's too simplistic? Do you think there's like a third category? I was thinking about maybe like an other category, or like the razzle-dazzle category. You may be able to include things like movement speed. But truthfully, to me, I consider movement speed both offensive and defensive. You have the ability to get out, get in. And in like sustain sets, that just keeps you alive. So that's a defensive and offensive set. It really, and there are sets that could do both, by keeping you alive and also making others more dead. I'm just trying to think of like how I want to categorize the set building portion, because I think a lot of people know which sets are good. I could throw out an example to you of like sets that are just overwhelmingly used in PvP. Plague Break. I mean, will be nerfed, but for example, that's a DPS that kills people set. Pariah is a set that's going to keep you alive. Those are the types of sets and things that you want to balance. Hi, I just started watching your video like 2 weeks ago and they've helped me so much. Well, thank you, Everything Black 1999. Only offensive PvP sets. If they die before me, I don't need defensive sets. There's the people that play like that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with, getting a little bit of offense and defense from your skills. I think a lot of times people do this, but they don't necessarily, I don't want to say they don't explain it well, but like, I don't like all right, I'm going to get myself in trouble. I apologize. I can't describe it any other way. But a lot of people, when they're describing how to get into PvP, I don't think they do a very good job at it. I think that they're so focused on the mentality of how to get into PvP, it can be overwhelming. I think that you just do it and just go in there and try it. If you want to try it out with your friend, try it out with your friend. But what I don't like that they do is they put the emphasis on the sets. To me, the emphasis is on the skills. That's why I did my skills video first versus the other, set video. And I'll tell you why. And I don't know if I explained this in the first video, if I was saving, I don't have my notes in front of me for the video, but I had a friend during Mid-Year Mayhem. He wore no sets. He had armor that he had purpled out, but he had no sets on. And he was able to kill people. He was able to blow up people and burst them down with his skills. And that is a perfect example. He had no set bonuses. None. And he was still able to go out and get kills using nothing but gear and potions. And so that's where I think a lot of times the emphasis is on the sets, and it shouldn't be. Because, for example, if I'm about to die, it don't matter what sets I'm wearing. I need to start streaking out of there, popping the shield, and keeping myself from dying. It's not going to make a damn difference if I'm wearing Pariah or Iron Blood. If I'm getting whapped, chances are I need to stop getting whapped. So that's why I think the emphasis should be on the skills. And a lot of times people will give the advice of like, oh, well, just build yourself to be so defensive that you slowly start taking off defensive sets until you could start killing people. I don't like that either, because do you want to go into PvP and not get any kills and then be like, okay, well, I'll just start rolling it back, and then you start dying and you're like, well, now what? And then it's like you're investing in sets the whole time and you're not doing very well. Like, I don't know. What I would encourage you guys to do is just like in that that first PvP video, just get some real easy skills, executes, movement speeds, shields, stuns, etc., and just start trying it. PvP and PvP sets should be separate. I mean, generally they are, but I think that even if you had, in theory, like obviously the two groups of offense and defensive sets, but that's where a PvE set would probably be like, if it's like Mother's Sorrow. And there are some people who make Mother's Sorrow PvP sets, like crit damage ones. It would just be an offensive set. It wouldn't be a good one, for most people, but it would still be, a PvP set or a offensive set in that 2 category listing. Does that make sense, by the way? I'm trying to think of some examples. So that's not where I need to go. And not to say they can't do both, but let's just say, for example, it's like, War Maiden, clearly an offensive set. Warrior's Poet, a defensive set. This just gives you a shit ton of health and armor. Well, mostly health. So it's like you can pair sets like these. I mean, that's not necessarily in this patch would I do that, but like that's generally my combination. Is I like to have one defensive set, and then the rest should be offensive in some capacity. So, for example, and some of you watching this may not know this, but the more magicka or stamina you have as a total pool, the more damage you do. That's why I like Ancient Grace. And then I consider Gaze of Sithis my defensive set, even though it has the drawback if you can't block. Well, it reduces your block mitigation to 0. You can still block. It's not like it's blocked from doing that. It just won't act in the same way. Necropotence, I would say, is a defensive and offensive set. It gives you higher resources, which you can use defensively and offensively. Swarm Mothers just gives you, it's a nice little one piece. It gives you mag and stam. That's why when it was in the Golden Vendor the other week, I was like, oh, it's here! Because I needed the medium shoulders for so freaking long. And it is like one of the best one pieces you could get because it's got mag and stam as a one piece, but I digress. And then I have the Trainee, which gives you some good resources, and then Ancient Grace to top it off. So you can see that a lot of my stuff is focused on stat resources, and it's got a little bit of defense intermixed with the Gaze of Sithis. But there's other ways you could do this, obviously, too. The most common way people do it is they just take a straight defensive set and a straight offensive set, and they just throw them together. For example, somebody could put on like Pariah, and then they could put it on Clever Alchemist. Clever Alchemist is basically you pop a potion, while in combat, you deal a lot more damage. Simple as that. And then you could have a monster set of like something or other. Don't even need a mythical. Or you could have a mythical if you wanted. So it's set building is actually probably easier than I think a lot of people give it credit for, because not a lot of times when you're in a PvP situation, if it would be like, oh, if only my set was different, I'll give you a perfect example. So say you're playing Madden football and you're trying to score a touchdown, and the actual stats of your players are your sets, but the plays are your skills. And this goes to my example. Yes, the stats make a difference, but it will come down to how you play it more than anything else in the game. I know that that's a very specific circumstance, and most of you might not play Madden, but it's American football. Yes, the stats, how tall somebody is, they might be slightly more likely to catch that football. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to how you called that play, how you initiated that play. That's going to matter so much more than the individual stats. And thank you for the subscription, Everything Black 1990. I like crit sets. You can crit damage and crit heals. Good point. That's honestly very true. Isn't there a PvP event coming up soon? Yes, in the middle of May. Although honestly, so I think it'll start when the campaigns reset. So 27 days is about when I think it will start. PvP gives me anxiety. Maybe I should try and play it more. You should. I think everyone should try everything. I used to hate trials. I don't know if I've changed that opinion, but I've never been a fan of trials. They stress me out. I always see people bickering at each other during trials. Oh, you kited too early. You lost taunt. You dum-dum. Oh my gosh, rewind. Now we have to start over. I didn't like trials, but I do trials. I find a lot of fun in trials sometimes. So it always just depends. I think everyone should try everything. Hey Jenks, thanks for the awesome content. You're absolutely correct. Knowing what decent sets are so you know what to save is helpful, but the focus on skills and strategy helps a lot. Amen. Also noticed that you guys aren't popping up as fast. You guys are coming up faster on my phone. I switched to PCNA, and at 300 CP, I was killing 1,000 CP player. It's all about the skills. Amen, Shrimp. Hey, Pro, what's up? I love your content and it's a mystery what the second half of the statement is. Hope they post the Crown Store preview for May tomorrow. I've always thought about doing like Crown Store previews, but I never know, honestly. I love your ability to deliver content. Thank you. Were you waiting to see if I read your comment? Was it going to be something mean if I didn't answer? Just kidding. I always find it's just easier to talk to people like they're people. You know, like I love like funly edited videos and videos with lots of memes, but I always try to just make it like a conversation because they're, you know, I originally made these videos because my friends were very confused. We would go from Ark Survival Evolved to ESO, and they were wholly lost on how to play ESO. So I tried to make videos that would essentially help them. So it was as if I was talking to my friends when I was making videos. And I try to keep that same style going. I know it's not like the most popular YouTube style. You know, I could do some like crazy edits, you know. I could probably put in some more, you know, cat scratches right here. This will probably get some more views and love, but it's just not my, well, I mean, it is a little bit my style, but the style for me is always just talking to you like how you'd want to be talked to. My goal is to read your brain. You might be thinking, and then bam, I hit it with you. I hit you with what you're thinking. You're like, oh, how did he know? That's my goal every video. So if I'm like going through like a list of things and you're thinking to yourself, well, what about this? Jake didn't say anything about that. Well, bam, I hit you with that. Yes, please don't stop doing what you do. Thank you, Riveter. Actually, it was fun fact as a government employee, I always try to do it the same way. Like, I think that transparency is always very helpful. That's why when people ask me questions about YouTube, I'm always like, this is how it is. Like, this is how it works. You know, this is how much I get paid. This is how much this is how much channel sponsors offer. I think that there's like this taboo that you shouldn't tell people things, but why? I mean, like, realistically, I mean, I guess you could say that, like, it could come off as, like, arrogant, but, like, if you're just saying, you know, the stats and how things work, like, I think you don't think it has to be. Any tips for someone who was at tank wanting to try PvP for the first time? My suggestion would be, what class do you play on? He's a Fed? No, I'm not a Fed. I'm a state government employee. Don't worry. That's better, I think. I'm assuming, though, if you are a tank, you're probably on a... what are you probably on? Like a Dragon Knight, maybe? See, it depends heavily. The only class that I really dislike PvP for is probably a Warden. Just because I think that Wardens, especially Stam Wardens, they're so predictable. And when you like start playing, like, for example, this toolkit that a sorcerer is using is not unique. There are some sorcerers who will use different abilities. I sometimes use different abilities. If I'm in Battlegrounds, I might drop Streak and I might put on like Weakness to Elements or Ellie Drain. You know, so there's a lot of ways you can play these things. But there's some classes just don't have a lot of tools in the toolkit. I use Warden with Dragon Knight, but I just started a Warden class. I would honestly, a Dragon Knight is a great class to do. I'm nervous about PvP because I run a tank in PvE. Dragon Knights are OP. Dragon Knights are OP because their skills do a lot for them, and they're only bolstered by the things in the overworld. So, for example, you know, now that I'm not a vampire. I don't know. I'm scrolling down. I don't know why I'm scrolling down like I'm a vampire. But, like, the ability now to teleport as a Dragon Knight is crazy. Dragon Knights have some of the best skills in the game, and they don't even need to rely on these other guilds. But if you're, like, Psijic Ordered, and you have things like Channeled Acceleration, this is another great way that you could just get oogles amounts of, like, speed and other such things on your Dragon Knight, and still be able to have such amazing ultimates and amazing passives. Dragon Knights are probably one of the best introductory classes for PvP in the game, and generally when you see those like 1vx videos, it's usually a Dragon Knight. I mean, Orc with Dragon Knight. I mean, even the new vampire ability that it's like what's the word I'm looking for? It's basically streak. So like vampires now can teleport using the vampire ability. I believe that's out now, isn't it? Isn't that out now? Am I crazy? I'm not a vampire. Hang on, I have a vampire though. I don't know why I could just switch to them. Hang on. Un momento. And no problem. I love to give tips to people. Why I like the Sorcerer, though, from my perspective, is it's got a lot of things also built in, but a lot of that is single target damage. Which one of you is a vampire? You're the vampire. DK helped me learn the game because I started with a Sorc and kept dying, couldn't learn the game properly. I will say the thing if you want to get good with a Sorcerer is you have to get really good at resource management, keeping your shields up, and being mobile. That's probably the best way to do it. You dash forward and reappear. I've never used this before. I'm like, oh, do I have to level it again? This is my 1-bar build, by the way. This is actually like a really fun like little build I made. I've never seen it. I actually don't even know how this looks. Come on, do the... See? Woo! I am now a wanted man. Oh, that's awkward. Ah! Panic! Hopefully there's no cops in here. Necro or nothing. Necromancer's another really good one, too. We'll just log out. Here, I can't log out because I'm in combat. Oh, the fuzz. Oh, there we go. I can log out of this guy. Keep him as a bountied man forever. Wanted by the law. Tell me this doesn't look like Zeus, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. Look at this. Look at this little guy here. Blast bones forever. That is an accurate description of what it's like to fight a necromancer and those who pair it with bombing. Nothing like a necromancer, bomber. My favorite. I'm sure there won't be any of those during Miniature Mayhem. Who would do that? I'm going to grab some water real quick. Don't panic. I'll be back. Ooh, don't worry, I'm back. I have more water. Which I should have drank off screen because I always feel like it's weird to eat and drink in front of people. Maybe that's what I'll do one stream. I'll just eat dinner just right in front of you guys. Be like, you guys got any good food over there? Nightblades are pretty OP right now, so this event will be kind of hard. Probably will be a little crazy. So I also have the video. I have the video list. That's what I meant to say. So we still have to finish our PvP series. We still have to do the Mythbuster video, the intro to trading / dailies, the mid-game player guide, transmute guide, sell deconstruct bank video, quest review video, the Necrom guide. We did the where to go videos, the how to play ESO in chronological order. We're still doing the podcast conversations, trying to get some people on, making sure it gets set up, looks all fancy schmancy. Zone video, we kind of did that. That might be a new thing too. I might think about making that in another video too, just more specific to like which zones should you actually go do. Storage management and then secret buffs. That's what I still have left to accomplish on my list, which is pretty hefty. If I'm being honest, that's a big old video. It's a big old list. So no pressure. Am I right? Well, no pressure at all. Let's go see what our daily quest is in the Gold Coast. I remember when I was first playing ESO, one of the most valuable modus in the game was the Minotaur helmet and the chest and the shoulder. And for some reason, whenever it comes to just like doing daily quests, my mind will always go to just go to the daily coast. Would I make more money in Blackwood or Galen or whatever? Yes. But there's just something so beautiful about the Gold Coast. Like, do you guys just get those vibes like the Gold Coast is just beautiful? Maybe it's because we get to see what Kvatch looks like before the incident. But it's just such a beautiful zone, Ooh. Which one we got? Oh, it's the Kvatch Arena. Now, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but I've read it on Reddit, so it means it's, probably at least 45% true. If you do the arena, you're guaranteed to not get the Minotaur mode. If you're guaranteed, I believe, to get the other one. We'll still do it anyway. It's just a guy here. We'll break out, Isabel. Woo, come here. Come on now. There we go. What new tale will retell? By the way, this is what the Emperor's armor looks like. If you ever wanted to see what it looks like. I don't know if I like it necessarily. The helmet looks kind of stupid, which is why I'm glad the companions don't wear the helmets, because it looks real silly. Although one of the things that I was thinking about getting in the game was doing a mementos video, and I wonder how many mementos I have left. A decent chunk of mementos I still need to get. Although it's not that much. I feel like that's there's such random ones too. Like here's a little totem that you got if you explored something or other, and hey, look, it summons a. I don't know. Do you guys find stuff like this interesting? I always find it interesting. It's like, hey, look, it summons a bunch of weird ass dudes to do a thing around you. Some of them are cooler than others. Some of them are just a little generic. I wish you could use these in PvP, but I understand that would probably break the whole game. What set do you think is good for a solo PvE Necro with Oaken Soul Ring? I know I have to let go of one set, but I'm finding it hard to take the Oaken Soul Ring off. And you're talking about for arena content, or are you thinking about just for overland content? Wonder if you can pay for Emperor? Probably. You could pretty much pay for anything. Literally, if you wanted a skin, you could probably pay for it. If you wanted gold, you could pay real life money for it. I mean, let's be real. You could pay for anything. Especially if you do the under 50 campaign, I'd imagine you'd be able to do it. What it would cost, though, I couldn't tell you because I don't know how difficult that stuff is to organize. But rest assured that if it's in the game, you can pay for it. Oh, this one's got such a long cooldown on it. Solo Arena. What class? Or you said Necromancer, right? I feel like Necros are decently tanky. Maelstrom or Vatestrand? I feel like I'm asking too many probing questions. And do you have any trial sets, or are you using mostly dungeon or overland sets or crafted sets? Because I feel like it's such a weight. Well, Oaken Soul gives you so many buffs too. So you could probably get away with Maelstrom's also very easy. So I almost feel like you could go straight DPS. I think that I don't know if I have it in my inventory. Basai from Rock Grove is a great one. You can see I just have tons of sets in my inventory because you'll get your Minor Slayer at all times and the less magicka you have, which during arenas you'll not have a whole lot of that because you'll be using it to do all your things. You could slap a Scion, and you can combine that with like pretty much any traditional set that you're wearing. That could be like if you had Pillar of Nirn or Kinraz or whatever. And if those sets are too hard, you could always wear like Law of Julianos. That's really not anything super controversial to wear. So I also realized that my skill bar is not on. Elemental Catalyst, that's a decent one too. My skill bar doesn't even pop up. I forgot I turned it off. All right, well, we're just gonna feel our skills. I know what I should be able. I think I can tell mostly based on which staff I have out, what's on what bar. I find though with Maelstrom Arena, you don't need a whole lot of bulk. If I'm being like honest with you, now Vatestrand, yes, because that final boss fight will have you question reality when you're constantly dying at the very end, and it's like a whole like 20-minute boss fight minimum, especially depending on like the class and whatnot you're playing. But for Maelstrom, I wouldn't put a whole lot of thought into like beefing yourself out for defense. I mean, a lot of people were wearing Ice Heart, for a while with like some of the weaker sets, because a lot of people assume that like DLC content is harder. That's true. However, Rothgar was like one of the first DLCs. Vatestrand was like years later. So the power creep between those two arenas is very different. So just keep that in mind when you're, thinking about sets like that. Boo, boo, boo. I'm also kind of sad that I don't have a chance to roll for the Minotaur motive. Very sad. Or maybe today's the day I find out you can actually get it, and I've just been an idiot this whole time. I shouldn't have believed what I saw on the internet. But I'm also a person on the internet. Would I believe myself? I don't know. Because I think they're also nerfing. What's the word I'm looking for? What are they nerfing? What are they nerfing, everyone? Oh my gosh. Heavy attack builds. They're nerfing heavy attack builds. I soloed normal Dragonstar Arena for the first time last night. Congrats. Only 400 CP. Honestly, this is a little secret for you. If you and two friends like get together, my mic is too loud. Is it? Is it really? You're not lying to me, Reaper? I thought it was good earlier. Is it because I'm just getting too excited? Is it because I leaned forward too much? I had my leg over my other leg like this earlier. Maybe that's why I was just a little bit further away. I do have the boost on because I have the pop filter on, so I could lower it just a hair. It should hopefully keep it better. I just don't want it to be where like every time I turn my head, it's like, oh my god, panic. So I don't know. You just hold me accountable, everybody, because that's what I need. Because I don't know what I sound like. Only you guys know what I sound like. Oh, Gloves of Mariah's. Maybe people will buy it. But the dirty secret I was talking about, if you and two, well, not a dirty secret, but you can farm like normal Dragonstar Arena, and what I've seen a lot of people do. Where am I going? Up here, right? Am I crazy? Yeah. So you can just whip out your companions and they can farm most of it for you. I've seen people AFK farm normal Dragonstar Arena with their companions. It's a little crackly. Is that like loud crackly? Like I need to like lower the boost a little bit? I can lower it here too. What settings do I got on this thing? Alright, let's see how this goes. Gosh dang it, I hate when I ask a yes or no question and I forget what it is, and then people answer it by saying yes, and I'm like, shit, what question did I ask? Is this better? I promise. I'm trying. No. I hate audio so much. If there's one thing about being a YouTuber that is like the hardest thing that nobody will ever tell you, it's the freaking microphones and it's the audio. Audio like requires like a 4-year college degree. I have watched hundreds of hours, and I'm not even kidding, of like YouTube tricks and things when it comes to like Streamlabs and YouTube. The majority of that has been audio, and I don't even think I have good audio. I just think I have audio that makes you go, all right, I'm not going to click off the video. I'll hear what he has to say. That's my goal, is to just keep you around long enough for you guys to be won over by my award-winning personality, which is a statement I can't even say without laughing. So hopefully this is better. I apologize for that. I was also a little nervous because I have a 3D printer going off like right next to me. So I was a little afraid that that was going to like cause it to be like cattywampus. As you can see too here, the cat is just sleeping in a little basket. This was intentional too. I wanted you guys to be like, here's the basket, here's the idiot, and then there's the content. So, and my main purpose of today's stream was really to focus on the like videos that you guys wanted to see. You guys gave some suggestions earlier. It's always helpful, and I always like to give you guys kind of like updates as to where things are. Do you get paid off people? I'm assuming you mean, do you get paid off people's lurk? I'm going to play, but you have up in the background to lurk and support / listen. Yeah. I also don't know like how long I plan to stream for. I always try to keep my streams more like answering your guys' questions. I know it's not like the most exciting content ever. We could always play Tales of Tribute, obviously. That would be way more exciting, but you know, I don't want you guys to become too excited. More so, the goal was to give you guys updates, show you guys where everything is. The gold guy, or not the gold, I'm like not saying words correctly. The video on the mounts is actually doing way better than I thought it would. I was just trying to get like a, it was just like, hey, what do I think people will find interesting? And that mount video is doing super well, so thank you guys for that. I didn't think the mount video I posted today would do as well as it did. It's already up to almost 9K likes, or 9K views, excuse me. It's got a 96.9% like ratio, and I mean, compared to the fact that it's got to compete with like my White Strikes Mayhem video, which is like, everyone's gonna want to see what's going on with that. I mean, that's a good video. So I'm glad you guys like that one, and it resonated with you. Only Empower got nerfed from 80% to 70%. Not a nerf, should have been 60%. Well, you know how people are. When something gets like tweaked lower, they're like, it's dead, it's gone forever. I wonder if I should show you guys this. I'm gonna like let you guys peer back into the mind of Jake. Hang on. You guys are gonna see. Hang on. Where's the? Well, that's not right. Hang on. Hang on. You guys aren't going to be able to see the chats. You guys are going to be able to peer back the curtain, though, and I'm going to show you. Thank you, HCP. I appreciate that. I'm going to peel back the curtain from you, and you guys are going to see what I see from the YouTube standpoint. Should I scroll this over? You guys can't see the like ratios. Gosh dang it. Hang on. Let me be like this a little smaller. You still can't see it. Gosh darn it. Hang on. Maybe a little smaller. All right. How do we fit now? I want you guys to see like this. I always find this bonkers. Well, no, I'm like grabbed onto the wrong thing. Woo! Shorten it a little bit. Scroll it down. What I always find crazy is just the amount of like the like ratio on these videos. Like, look at these ratios that you guys give. I just want to give you guys a thank you for all of these. I mean, not one of these is below 80%. Look, this one's got 100%. 100, not one person. Now, granted, one of you, if you really wanted to, could go dislike it. Maybe I should do that just to pop the cherry. Not one of you, not one, there's 175 likes, not one dislike. The ratios on these videos is just crazy. So I just wanted to thank you guys again while we're all here together. And you can see too, I have my little ad drafts I have to put in sometimes for people's. Look at this, 99.3. Oh, here's one I had made a meme video. This one got 89%. Scandalous. Like for the Liverpool jersey. Hey, man, thank you, Taylor. This is just letting you guys peer back the curtain. If you guys are ever curious, like, I think I messed it up because I made the window larger. If you guys are ever curious, what it looks like, from behind the scenes, on the YouTube, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like back here, peeling back the curtain. What really drives me insane though is the oh, hang on. Can I sort it by views? I thought I could do that. I can do that. There we go. The videos. So my top 3 best videos were some of my first videos. So this is the 4th video I ever made, and it's my 2nd most watched one. And the audio in it is hot garbage. The audio in this one got messed up twice. It's got 41,000 views, and I feel so bad. The vampire one's alright. I feel like the vampire audio is pretty good. I feel like this audio is pretty good. I was surprised that this one did as well as it did. How to make your first million gold. I actually plan to do a 1 to 10 million video, because I think that's another really good period. And this one was a super controversial video when I had basically said what I think the newest class in ESO was going to be, even though I hit the nail on the head. We didn't find out for a while, and I got a lot of messages on Facebook like, you dirty clickbaiter. But what's so funny too is my logic was basically that the developers are going to look towards popular past DLCs and games and try to get players excited based on their past experiences. We know we're returning to this area based on Easter eggs. It would make sense for them to tie in Hermaeus Mora because he's not a Daedric invasioner. I thought the logic was sound, but those you can see it's got the little worse reception. You underestimate how much you benefit others. I like to listen, and you are soothing. I'm very appreciative of your content. I've been listening for about 2 weeks now. Well, thank you. And then I can't skip over Reaper, who said, "I wish you could marry Ember like Skyrim." I'll think it. And then good evening, Queen. So yeah, these are my most visible videos. If you're curious what my most disliked video was, it is a video that I removed because I had uploaded it. It was my first ever mid-year mayhem guide, and it was objectively bad. So I removed it. Oh, and you don't have to apologize, Rambo. You're Rambo. You little silly rapscallion. You don't have to apologize. You're good. I'm just chilling. It's just hard for me sometimes to see Xbox messages as well as chat ones, and then obviously I get things like work emails, which is always painful. Okay. Sorry, I got some weird ones. And thank you, Chrislor, for resubscribing your Prime for 4 months. Thank you. I feel like I owe you guys more interesting content. I should do something do a little dance or something. I don't know. I could pet the cat more. She's right here. See, you guys can see the void is. Oh, now she's holding on to my hand with her paw. Just holding my cat's hand. Does that win you over? I like the fact that you're very descriptive in your videos. I drive a lot for work, so I can pop on your videos over. Ooh, hang on, it's your comment just moved up. Over the truck and listen and not feel like I'm missing out on the info. Well, that's good to know. Facts with Garrett said, thank you. And then how's the kitty doing? She is like awake, but comfortable is how I would describe her. Like she is all to be pet, but she is comfy. I actually understand what you were explaining. The detail is amazing, but you understand the mindset of new players and explain it in a way where you can understand. I don't know why that comment kept as his comments kept like shifting on me. It's like a little test. Can you do a good Warden build? PC YouTubers lie. Just need a good non-shit build. I like Frostbite. What I would pair it with, I don't know necessarily. Let's see. Let's see what that would give you. So I should probably start with my ABCs, huh? Increase your damage done by frost abilities by 8%. Increases your damage done against chilled enemies by 4%. Increases your damage done against enemies with iron or brittle by 2%. What would I want to pair this with? Would I want a set that would make it easier to apply status effects? Maybe. Would I want to apply it? Wardens, I feel like, are so tanky as is. I feel like you could get away with... Let me look at something real quick. You guys are going to see how little I do dungeons. Don't judge me. Is that not frost damage? I always thought Ice Heart did frost damage. Interesting, it does not. Oh, I guess you deal frost damage. I'm just wondering, like, what would I pair it with? I almost think, like, you could do Ice Heart. You know, because you're getting more. It is frost damage. You deal additional frost damage. You get your shield. What would I put with this? What would you guys put with this? If you guys wanted to build a PvP Ice Warden, what would you? I think the Ice Heart is a decent shout because it covers your defensive need pretty well. And I have a strong opinion where people that use AoEs around them in PvP, people are less likely to stand next to them and attack them because they have these AoEs around them. So I'm actually a pretty big fan of them. I just don't know what I would put with it. What is... I don't know what I would do. I'd have to think. Is 5 pieces spinners and 5 piece of Mother Sorrow viable? I mean, you could use that in like no proc Cyrodiil, but I think that sets like that are just outdone these days by sets that... The sets that you're referring to, is that Backwood Jedi? For some reason, your name is very small, and I'm struggling to see it. There's so many new sets to the game, because those are both base game sets. There's just so many sets in the game that outperform those sets these days. Oh, I like Frostbite and Trickery. That's a good shout, honestly. Or did you say you were using Oaken Soul? Or did you not say you were using Oaken Soul? I can't remember. I guess you could use Oaken Soul. Is there a set in Blackwood for frost damage? I believe that's what Frostbite. It does frost damage. Let me check these other two real quick. When enemy dies, yeah, I remember that one. Heavy damage. Increases your damage done with frost abilities by 8%. Increases your... Also, it's frost abilities. So technically, it wouldn't actually count towards Ice Heart because that's not a frost ability. It's a frost proc. I did not notice that wording. This is where, like... I don't know if I'm crazy, but usually when I build a PvP set that does something like if I was using this... I would just start thinking like out loud, what are some good sets that combo together? And then how can I put those together successfully to kind of create a combo that I want to see, you know. So for example, when I was building my sorcerer, I was like, I love Gaze of Sithis on a sorcerer because it gives you a lot of stats, a lot of armor, and with the sorcerer, you can just teleport out. You don't have to worry about, you know, getting whacked. And I thought to myself, what pairs very well with this? And that's where I got my other sets. You kind of go one set at a time, but also don't think that this isn't without like experimentation. You usually have a shit ton. I tried for a while to get Moonhunter to work. I think Moonhunter is a great set, just doesn't work on a sorcerer very well. I am on Xbox and my CP is, I forget, 1548. You guys can't see it because of my thing blocking the way, but I'm 1548. Daedric Trickery is a really good set. Maybe I'm thinking too far into this. You could always just go like Clever Alk and Frostbite and then just use Frost abilities, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to put like a whole lot of like thought into it. You could just put good sets in, you know? It's like so I play Marvel Snap. It's like that, you know. Some people just use good cards. They don't use cards that combo together necessarily. They just use the best ones, and those decks usually do really well. Watch the draft with my wife or tune into your stream. She's a big sports fan. I'm here. Oh, that's very, very nice, Rudy. Now I feel like I need to, you know, put on a little jingle or something, or break out like a flute and play a song. I'm loyal to AD on PlayStation 5. Does that mean you're not loyal to AD if you came to Xbox? Would your loyalties be tested if you had to change? If you guys want to hear a story of how I ended up on the Daggerfall Covenant, it's super simple. So, not all of my friends had any race, any alliance. So we all came together one day and said, we will all play the same alliance. So we need to pick an alliance that has 3 races we can all tolerate playing. And that ended up being the Daggerfall Covenant. The Dominion was out almost immediately. Some of my friends were like, I'm not a furry. I don't want to be 5'2" and a wood elf. And I don't want to look like an arrogant prick like a high elf. Out. The Nords, we were like, okay, Nords are really cool. Their passives, though, are just... I don't know how I feel about the passives. So that's where people were like, Nords, Dark Elves have good passives, but it's like, do you want to be a Dark Elf? You know, sometimes I feel like, you know, you want to have a race where you can look like yourself. And then Argonians, that's, you know, that's just, you know, lizard bait. It's like the, you know, reptile version of furries. I will be AD on Xbox and PC. I've had the game since 2015. Well, at least you're, you know, consistent. Oh, hang on, I missed a comment. Frostbite and Order's Wrath could be good, getting the Frost abilities to crit. That's true, too. That could be a good combo. Or you could always use that one from the Gourmand set. Isn't there like the Gourmand set from Galen, I think, does significantly more than Order's Wrath. I could be remembering it backwards. But this is a really good set, too. This set still sells like hotcakes. Like, if you need to farm something, just farm back Alley Gourmand. It's great. What are some good sets for Dragon Knight DPS? I think, honestly, just like any DPS sets, like Pillar of Nirn, Kinraz, Whirl, what's it called? Basai. They're just really easy sets to use. Zens. Hopefully I said all those things correctly. Sometimes when it comes to like PvE, I always say like the wrong thing. Lizard furries, scalies. I hate Dagger, they gank but suck at it. High elf women are hot. That's fair point. You gotta remember though, we came to this conclusion collectively. So it was like a vote. It's like a democratically voted election of which one we would be. DC and EP always team up on AD on PS5. I mean, can you blame them? Like, you know, I mean, it's the Thalmor. How many? Who could? I mean, like, I get it. you watched the Thalmor on Skyrim and you thought to yourself, I want to be the villain, and you became the villain in ESO. I get it. You know, some people like that stuff. Neil Sir said burning spell weave. I don't know how that would pair together, but I mean, like, you know, go for a full elemental thing. Actually, isn't there a PvP set? Hang on. You sparked something inside of me, but I forget which set it is. Is it one of these sets, or is it? It does. Oh wait, is it this one? No. Shoot. Just ignore me, guys, while I like flick through PvP sets to remember which one like came to my mind as a 5-piece bonus, but I don't remember the name. Curse Eater, by the way, used to be goated with the sauce, as the kids say. Deadly Strike is going to be goated with the sauce again when the Arcanist comes out. Elfbane, by the way, is also goated with the sauce. You've been given the power to buff one race, but you must nerf another. How do you go about it? Well, I picked the Breton to buff because I am a Breton, and it's objectively the best race because it looks the coolest. And if I had to nerf one, the Argonians. They've had it too good for too long. Nerf the Argonians. I feel like I am missing the set that I think that I am thinking of. Am I stupid? Is it this one? No, this is one of the new ones. That's one of the new ones. Sorry, everyone. Small break here while Jake tries to get his shit together, and he was on to something. And he's losing it. Was it spells? No, it's not spell strategist. All right. I really thought I was. I don't know which set it is. I thought I was on something, everyone. I'm sorry. I wonder if I still have it. I got a golden chess piece of it one time. I wonder if I still have it. Not crafty. Shit. By the way, I used to use the Lich set for PvP. That should give you an idea of how old this character is. I just keep it in my inventory in case one day I'm like, you know, it's like using breakaway pants. Yeah, red guards do need it. I'll give you that. Would I buff them? No. Because Bretons deserve it. Because I am a Breton. And that is how I make these decisions. This is why I would not be a good game developer. Because I'd be like, well, objectively, I like this race a lot. So everyone else can just, you know, can figure it out. Is it Imperial City? By the way, Imperial City has monster sets. A lot of people did not know that. I was surprised when I was talking to people about that. This set used to be so cool. This set used to literally, if you died, you'd come back to life, and then you'd have like 25% of your health or something, and like a damage shield. Oh, excuse me. It was so cool. I miss it so much. Powerful assault. Yeah, I don't. Jake, you should make a new character. I have characters, right? You know, I use them sometimes. Isn't there a set that's from PvP that like increases the damage by frost, fire, and lightning abilities, right? Isn't that a thing? Why do I feel like I'm gaslighting myself and this isn't a thing? But I feel like it is a thing. And I feel like I have a bunch of it and I'm not crazy. Is this a thing? Can somebody please tell me if I'm a lunatic, apparently? Am I crazy? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Like, is what I'm saying a set that is real? Is anyone picking up what I'm putting down? Am I crazy? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Please, somebody just know what I'm talking about. I know I had some of it. You guys can see though that I like sell everything I get. I don't like buying anything to the sticker book. Secession set is spell strategies. Secession. Is that on this one? It would have been here already, right? Where's Secession? Is that it? I'm crazy. I'm literally crazy. It doesn't exist. Maybe they changed it and I had no idea, but I am not seeing it. I wish there was a search function. Hang on, I'm gonna Google the set here real quick. It's a set that gives you damage to both or all of your elemental damage. So like lightning, fire, ice. Oh, so elemental secession is whenever you deal flame shock or frost damage, you gain 492 weapon and spell damage for flame shock or frost damage for 4 seconds. Each effect is picked randomly, and an effect that is already active cannot be refreshed. Interesting. And that is from Maelstrom Arena. I feel like I thought maybe it did something different in my head. Just discovered your Alex Jones sword's legendary. I got really bored one day, and I was like, I saw somebody do them for Warhammer, and I just did them for ESO. Like I found some clips, put them on there, and I was like, this is so so dumb. It sounds like that. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Draken. Hang on, let me see what that one is. Any PvP build videos in the future? Yes, that is the next video I will likely make. Is actually that, minus the golden vendor video. That's obvious. That'll be tomorrow because tomorrow's Friday. But that will be on the cards here also coming up. Draken ESO. Increases your damage. No, that's what I would see. Was like that kind of effect, but with random elements. I'm crazy. That's what it is. Just I can't be helped. You guys are so behind me in time. Nearly Friday lunchtime for me. Oh, I bet. I have a big old training tomorrow. I got my work cell, my personal cell. You can see this one's got a Liverpool background too. Gotta let all the peoples know. There. Oh. Oh, I do not like reading work emails. They just make you so sad. Do people find you midstream? I don't know. I don't usually get a whole lot of subscribers, like, you know, from streaming, because I think a lot of you guys are already, you know, subscribed. Like, that's how you find it, because YouTube's probably like, hey, you should watch the guy that you're subscribed to. I can actually pull it up. I can tell you how many people that watch my live streams are subscribed. We'll do some digging here. So so I can't do the one that I'm currently looking at, unfortunately. So, but I can do the last one. So my last live stream, 76.9% of them were subscribed. So only 23.2% were not subscribed, which versus my channel average. I think my channel average is usually around 33% of you guys are subscribed versus 67% of you guys are not subscribed. Part of that is like I probably need to, you know, be that guy at the beginning of the video that's like, please subscribe. My cat needs to eat. You know, she needs some treats. You know, gotta subscribe so I can buy her some more stupid shit. But the other part of that too is that, like, you know, it's ESO related. You know, people don't necessarily always want like you know, ESO feeds and stuff in. You know, I know some people who've told me that, like, directly, like, you know, I like your videos, but I don't want my feed to just be ESO stuff. So I mean, it depends. Trying to get hints on your location, well, don't look at it because it's at the bottom and you can see it. By the way, on PvP builds for absolute noobs, I can suggest Ancient Dragon Guard and Ethereal Ascension. This is how you honor your sixth house and the tribe unmourned. I feel like I missed a thing. Hope your training finishes early and you can start the weekend. Unfortunately, I have scheduled stuff after the training anyway. It's the problem as a salaried employee. They just like tack on a bunch of stuff to you and they're like, just go do all this. And you're like, no, thank you. And then they're like, it wasn't an option. And then you just cry to yourself softly. Auto tanking and keeping you alive. Look at this little cat. She's just sitting here, head bobbing. You see the head bobbing? It's right here. I'll try to, you know, put my hand over it so you can see. She's like a freaking void of nothingness. You guys see this? What is this? What is this? I'm new to your live stream, but I've been a subscriber for a while. Well, thank you, puppies. Is there anyone that's not subscribed that wants to, you know, subscribe? You know, so we can see the percentage of how many of you guys are not subscribed. Anyone want to take a leap of faith? No pressure. I wonder if I can see any analytics from this video while it's live. Not really. Actually, you can see some things. So, for example, I've had 164 unique people, which means that that's like individual accounts. Let's see, what else can we see here? My peak was 52 viewers on YouTube. Audience, 79.3% of you guys were subscribed. Ooh. You're on Twitch. I had no idea. We'll see. That's, you know, try to, you know, branch out. And thank you for the follow, Bill Mapasta 117. I hope I said that correctly. I'm sorry if I butchered it. Ancient Dragon Guard is so good. I've not used it before. I'd have to actually look at what it does before I could even give you any sort of idea. Oh. We got some more peoples. Got 3 more little silly gooses. We need a newbie non-mythic PvP build that can be captured and pasted to my multiple classes. I'm trying to convert my PvP friends to PvP. Well, if I had to suggest a copy and paste PvP build, what would I do? Probably Clever Alchemist, because that forces them to use potions, and I think so many people don't use potions. And thank you for the follow, Ella8835. Clever Alchemist. Probably Balorgs as the monster helm and monster set Balorgs. How do we feel about that? You know, a little mini poll rights now to ourselves. What do you guys think? Balorgs, monster set? What are we thinking? Good, bad, too crazy, not crazy enough? What do we think? Balorgs, clever, disagree. Oh god. No mythicals. Remember, no mythicals. You gotta stick to new moons. But like new moons, not noob friendly. That's fair. You're killing me. Okay, what about the little dwarven little guy that follows you? What set is that? My brain. You know what? You know what's super new player friendly? Bloodspawn. Bloodspawn is super easy. Can you play the new class on PTS? I hate YouTubers. Their add-ons are not fair. I can. I have ESO now downloaded on this PC. I don't know if I have the capacity to stream at the same time, and my character probably doesn't look very good, but Engine Guardian, thank you, Ella. That is another one that I think would be good. Clever Alch is a crafted set. New Moon, I just feel like there's better options. Does anyone else feel like there's better options than New Moon? Am I crazy? Like, I feel like you could go with, like, you know, like Daedric Trickery would even be better than New Moon. What are we thinking? Clever Alch, Bloodspawn, and or Engine Guardian. Ancient Dragon Guard beats both of these for a noob. Hang on, that's from Southern Elsewhere? Southern Elsewhere? Northern Elsewhere? Or no, is that a crafted set? Because Dragon Guard Elite is from... Yeah. So, it's a... Hang on. Hold up. The other problem, too, is it's not very noob-friendly to have two crafted sets. You know what I mean? Morning, Jake. How's it going, Craig? Because if you have two crafted sets, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to upgrade the jewelry to anything good. Gives you attack when you need it and protection when you're under 50% health. My problem, is it a crafted set? Am I crazy? Is it a crafted set? I think it is, right? I think you need something over, like, if you truly want to be new player friendly, you need something that can give you easy jewelry. You need max purple for jewelry. But I mean, like, that's expensive. I mean, like, that's, especially if you're on PC, that's like what, like 500,000 gold? That's probably more than 500,000 gold just for one piece of purple jewelry. I mean, you can still use it, you would just need to... But even like blue jewelry, like that's like... On Xbox, they're like 11,000 each. So that's like 40k almost for a blue piece of jewelry. That's my only thinking about it. That's the only negative I would have to say, though. You know what I mean? Like, you could still use it on the body, but then you couldn't use a second crafted set to go with it. You see what I'm saying? Like, you could still use it, but you couldn't. It's not as like you couldn't do two crafted sets and then a monster set because it would be so expensive. Yeah, but like I think the difference is like you could probably find a lot of good overland sets. Oh, don't kill that guy. For cheaper for purple, or like I think it's nice to give people the ability to farm stuff too. Hi, Jake. Started to ESO again. Well, welcome back, Kite. For PvP, Shadow of the Hist, Gloomgraced, and one from Rothgar. One more from Rothgar should be good after Mars Bomb Nerf. Disagree, Crafted is easier to get. I mean, it's easier to get, but like, I think purple is the minimum that you need. I don't like using blue. I don't know the stat difference off the top of my head, but it just feels. But I guess if it's one of those ones where it procs, it gives you something that's also specific and not necessarily enumerated. I mean, I guess it works. Well, yeah, weapons is definitely the most important thing to gold out. I agree with you there. Yeah, we're talking about a noob starter. And maybe I'm just thinking too much into this too, because I'm thinking also like out loud to myself. Is I get a lot of players who are frustrated by the fact that they need to get someone to craft something for them. Like I've got a few comments at least in this last month after reading through all of them, where people feel like you have to be a good crafter off the bat because it's hard to get someone to craft stuff for you. And my goal is always to break down those barriers to get people into, content so that, they can have good crafted sets. Also, by the way, a gaming chair, so much more comfortable, and I can prop up my legs on my couch. Plague Break and Wretched Fatality. Plague Break, I would say, is relatively easy to get, just because of the how much it's sold. The key is to get into it and not die every minute. Well, that does help. Just use that one 12-piece druid set. That's a craftable. Just use that, the whole thing. My cat has abandoned me, by the way. I can see her. So straight across from me is my actual bedroom, which is where my I have these barn doors for some reason. I don't know why they designed the apartment like this. And she's just sitting there on the bed looking at me. She's like, is it time to go to sleep yet? And I'm like, no, it is not time to go to sleep yet. What are you talking about, you freaking cat? So yeah, cats are the silliest of creatures. But so we have the 3-part PvP series. Is there any other introductory type videos that you guys would find helpful? My plan when I do the PvP set videos is just list off pretty much everything that I think could be a good set and which ones naturally pair together. I feel like it just could be so hard, to think what's a good universally good PvP set, because I think Deadly Strike is one of the best ones in the game, but for some classes it's useless. So that's where it becomes so tricky. Jewelry is the bane of ESO. It's slow and frustrating. I remember leveling with Trainee set back when the Trainee set. I think the Trainee set is still very good, by the way. The Trainee set I think is one of the best in the game. What do you think of the new Heavy Armor Mythic? I think it's going to be great. Oh yes, it will be great. Evie, what are you doing? You're climbing on the thing. What are you doing? Oh, there's the tail. My cat came back over. Willpower and agility are good starters. Or good, yeah, I'm assuming that's what you mean. I mean, they're not, they're easy to get too, and they're not. What they do is not. It's not something that requires a proc, which means that you can just do it. You know what I mean? There's no secret. So a lot of times I've noticed a lot of my friends especially will struggle to keep certain sets procced. And I think that when you have sets that just give you straight stats, that can make it so much easier. You can't make a universal one for PvP in general. You can make one. You can make one for a noob starter. I think you shouldn't do that though. If I'm being honest, now that I think about it, like if you're gonna go through the effort to try to make one, you might as well make it tailor made to your class. You know what I mean? And thank you for the subscription, Jeremy Patterson. Sorry, I gotta fix my YouTube chat. I've seen a lot of Oaken Souls using willpower or agility. That's also too because Oaken Soul gives you a lot of named buffs, and those sets don't give you any named buffs, so they just give you flat increases. So I think that's the main reason they do that. Oh, my cat is being silly again. What are you doing? What are you doing? What you doing? Oh, don't stand on the keyboard. Oh no. Sometimes I think she just sees me touch the keyboard. She's like, oh, I gotta go stand on this. I'll press the keys myself. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You don't know how to video edit. Let's calm down. Oaken Soul, I think, is just a really good mythical, if I'm being honest. I think there's just a lot of good mythicals in the game. And I think that the trick, I think, is to start with something. So, for example, when I was thinking to myself of, like, I want to build a sorcerer, I'm going to use the Gaze of Sithis just because it's going to pair really well with what I'm trying to do. That was a great starter point for me. And from there, I was able to easily build in what I think would be helpful to go with it. You know, for example, say you're a Templar and using a ton of channeled abilities. Throw on Deadly and then go to yourself, well, what do I want to pair with this? It can be a good starting point to kind of go one set forward. Or think to yourself, I'm using Balorgs. And, you know, from Balorgs, I'll show you guys what Balorgs does. I do not have it in my inventory. Where does Balorgs drop from? Pop quiz, because I don't remember. There we go. When you use an ultimate ability, you gain weapon and spell damage equal to the amount of total ultimate consumed, and physical and spell penetration equal to 23 times the amount. I find mythics have pushed monster sets out of the picture for most meta setups. That is the unfortunate reality. What I would say, though, is I think that Balorgs is still very good overall. March of Sacrifice. Good job, JML. So, I don't know why I'm tap targeted to this thing, by the way. I'm like tap targeted to that one guard. So, but for example, say you were building your combo around you ulting. So you got Balorgs on there. You might think to yourself, well, what else do I need on that setup? You might think to yourself, well, do I want to be like an invisible gank build? You know, maybe I want something easy like Stiggins that doesn't require me to do anything but leave stealth. You know, so for example, I'll show you guys the Stiggins set here, which is a great set to sell, by the way. You can see that I don't even know if I have a whole lot of it bound because I love to sell it so much. So it gives you offensive penetration, weapon and spell, which is already a great 2, 3, and 4. And then when you leave sneaker invisibility while in combat, your weapon and spell damage is increased by 335 for 15 seconds. They did nerf this at one point. It did always used to be while in combat. That was a bit of a qualifying statement that was kind of put in. And good job, Neilster, too, on getting it correctly. But 15 seconds is a long-ass time. And then you think to yourself, well, if I become a vampire, vampires coming out of stealth get even more damage. So then you think to yourself, well, so I know I want to use an ultimate that's going to do oogles amounts of damage. And now I've got Stiggins, which is going to give me a shit ton of extra damage. Well, not a shit ton, but a decent chunk of damage for a long time. What else am I thinking? You might think to yourself, Plague Break could go pretty well with this. Maybe their first instinct as I'm coming out of stealth is going to be to, it's going to be to purge and cleanse. And you could, hit them with the old razzle dazzle at that point. These are the this is the dialogue that you want to have in your head. I also do not have a single orc, Rudy, so it's okay. Where am I going? I went way past P. Plague Break. Direct damage causes them to become plague barrier, and if they, do it. So you're thinking, this could be a pretty good, that could be a pretty decent setup, for a, fighting groups of people inside a keep, together. And Draken, Deadly, and Balor, that could be a good combo too. You just have to think to yourself, what do I want to do? And what is my goal? So, because as I'm doing this hypothetical out loud, with you guys, it's a good thought experiment to have, because it's what's my goal? What is my character going to do? So in thinking, it's like, well, I'm going to be in stealth a lot. I probably want to be a vampire. If I'm a vampire, I'm probably going to really rely on those stealth abilities, probably a Nightblade. These are the rotations I'm thinking about. These are some sets that could go really well with those rotations. Is that the best in slot, like bombing or ganking build? Probably not. But what we've also talked about are some sets that are super affordable. I mean, Plague Break is cheap. Stiggins is pretty good. And Balorgs is free if you can, get it from the dungeon. It can be a really fun set to just try out, see it, what you want to do. Stiggins with Stoons and Markin on your Nightblade. That's a really good one too. Markin will give you a really nice chunk of extra armor too. Like give you a little more survivability. So those are some things you might want to think about. But if you're also dying a lot when you're trying this out, you might have to start learning some of the other classes. What's killing me? What are the weaknesses that I have? A really common example of this is during, Mid-Year Mayhem or White Strikes Mayhem. There's a lot of people that are going to be running things like Revealing Flare. So you might get pulled out of stealth against your will a whole lot, and you might be targeted if you get pulled out of stealth. That could be a little bad for you. Jesus said this is underrated. I agree wholeheartedly. People also forget about sets that are just really fun. I really like sets that summon things. That's another good example. Be that guy that runs like 50 pets, Be that guy that lags all of Cyrodiil. Just kidding. It's not your fault that Cyrodiil lags. And I'm now realizing I forgot. Somebody asked a question earlier about the hardware update. Everything except PlayStation EU and maybe Xbox EU should be done next month. What is a good main resource recovery? Hang on. See, Rudy, that depends. Why does it depend? Now, actually, Rudy, I'm going to ask you this question. Why do you think it depends? Why do you think the number can be low, and why do you think some people have the number high? And Gaze said this is great. Just roll. That's true. Or just streak. I got a question. If I get M, do you get to keep the passives, and are they good? You don't get to keep the passives, but they are very good. As a healer, so 2200 is the first answer from JML. Why do you guys think it depends? Just be a high elf for recovery, huh? That's a good point. Spamming? Well, think to yourself too. So we have resources, right? So you and I, we've got resources. My guy's only got 890 magicka. This is a good example. Why do you think I do not need any more magicka recovery on this PvP character? Why do you think that even though I'm constantly throwing out abilities, I've got 47,000 magicka. I've got only 890 Magicka recovery, though. Why do you think that that's enough for this sorcerer? What do you think are some considerations that this character has that maybe some others don't, but could consider? Pop quiz. There's no wrong answers. It's all opinion based. Tank needs the most. That is also true. That is very true. No pressure, Rudy. And anyone else that wants to answer. Anyone's is an open note, open question. Why do you think that recovery is not always universally needed on a PvP character? What are some other factors and considerations that are taken into account when we're talking about recoveries? Passives? What kind of passives? Strong burst combo with good executes? Cool story has hit one of the nails on the head. Dark Deal. So, what is Dark Deal? It is very sorcerer specific, but it basically lets you convert some of your stamina to magicka. But burst is a good answer. Passives was another good answer. Is there obviously passives that could do all sorts of different things, but I'm thinking Sork specific. And then Cool Story said there's a shit ton of mag, by the way. Yes, it is. And it was made, when the shields were going off of pretty much your max magicka, but now it's capped to your max magicka or health. So you don't need to have as much as you do. How often you rotate heavy attacks is another great answer, Aaron. So why is that important? Some people might use like a two-hander on a sorcerer, and they're probably not going to be able to heavy attack. Their only reason for using that two-hander is probably just to get the passives, which means that they really just want the weapon and spell damage. They're not going to really be able to heavy and light attack very often, but they want that extra damage. So that's another really good answer. I'm looking for one more answer, though. If you run the light armor skill that gives you a shield that gives you a magicka. Yeah, this one, dampen. Well, what's the other answer that you guys might be thinking? And I'll give you a clue. You would be able to see it right now if my bars weren't all hidden. What do you guys think is another consideration? That could be any class. This is not sorcerer specific. What do you guys think about when it comes to recoveries? What is a huge consideration for you guys to take into account when you're thinking about these things? Other morphs? Not necessarily what I'm thinking of. Think any class, any race, any alliance. Major intellect, you're getting warmer. You're very warm, JML. Sustained class skills, we kind of hit on that. Big main resource pools, kind of, but think every class, everything. Potions. Boom! JML has hit the nail on the head. So, a really good thing to start getting into the habit of is having potions. And consider two things such as having different types of potions on your skill bar. For example, tri-stat potions on a sorcerer means that I can get stamina back, and I can then convert that stamina to health and magicka using Dark Convergence. So I don't have to worry about having such high levels of magicka recovery because I have so much ways to get magicka back. Does that make sense? Another really good thing that I'm looking for is very similar. If anyone wants to try to guess it real quick, it is of the same vein as potions. No spoilers, but I'll give you guys a chance. Completely forgot about pots. It's something that a lot of people don't use. I know when I go into PvP with some of my friends, none of them use potions. They think it's too costly. It's too, not worth it. I have never purchased a Tri-Stat potion, and this character has almost 2,000 of them. You just log in, and they just give them to you. They just give you these Tri-Stat potions. They're like candy. Food and drinks. And Pat also said it right almost at the same time, and so did Samuel. Buff foods are also essential when it comes to thinking about resources, total resources, resource recoveries, and so on and so forth. And here is the essential thing, too, that a lot of people don't think about. When you're in a situation where you're experiencing something in Cyrodiil, you can, on a whim, change your buff foods and change your potions on a whim. You can do it at any time. Put them on your skill bar, have them in your inventory, and you can switch between them. If you notice that you're in these elongated fights where you are running out of magicka, you can switch from like Bewitched Sugar Skulls to something like Witch Mothers. You can do those switches real time. What food or drink buff matters a lot? Exactly. And I think that that's something that a lot of people don't put a lot of thought into, and that is something that'll be hit upon in my third PvP video, where we kind of bring it all together. We got the skills, we got the sets, and now we've got the miscellaneous toolkits. Weapon poisons is another really good answer, by the way, because, for example, I am a huge fan of escapist poisons. So it immobilizes your target and grants you unstoppable, making you immune to control effects for 3.9 seconds. I think stuff like this is absolutely OP. Well, there's a Darlek Bray set where you get Kneel and Sigic Meditation. On a Sork, I like Citrus. It will always come down to your specific playstyle. For example, there are some sorcerers out there who are running in a group, and they might really love things like Negate, for example. Why do people love Negate? Because they can be stunned and or silenced. So they might be running heroism potions so that they can be using this more often. That way they can be comboing it with their teammates to be able to do things. And they might throw on something like Encase to do the same things, or they might use like Mesmerize, with a vampire, which really sees almost no utilization at all. These are other considerations that you have to make when you're building a class, because if your friends are trying to do something, you can combine it with them. If your friend's playing a very specific way, if he's got, a bunch of burst damage that he can do in an AoE, you've got the ability to prevent people from using essentially anything. When you use things like Negate, you can really start comboing together. Oh, you can see my cat's jumped up. Evie, come here. Come here. Let's see if I can get her to come down. Mesmerize was gutted. I haven't actually seen it recently. Weapon enchants give you resources. Also very true. Weapon enchants is another really important consideration also. What enchantments you got on there is another really good thing to consider. My cat is just watching me tap. She's not interested in going to my hand. I'm just going to sit like this and do this for a while. I'm also a little gutted to see like when they changed the shield, because my shields used to be so big. My hardened ward shields literally used to give me like 20,000 plus health, or shield I should say, but now it's capped. That hurts so bad. My cat is just not interested. He's just interested in staring. But But I'm going to start wrapping up here because I got to get ready for bed because I have to go do a training super early tomorrow, part 2. So, I just knocked my microphone. Hope the audio was better. Hope the audio was good. And I will tweak it, I promise. I was thinking the Undaunted passive gives you resources when you activate synergies. That's another good observation and thing too. If you're in a ball group, especially where you're dropping things that can be synergized, it's a good consideration. You might not need as much magic or recovery. Audio is good, thank God. Any other final questions or anything? I'm going to start wrapping up here. I'm going to put the old ending thing on here. Last call, because there's also a stream delay, and I also feel bad if you guys are like, Jake, quickly answer this question, and I'm already gone. Loud and clear. That's what I like to hear. That was oddly poetic. I didn't mean it to sound like that. Favorite vampire skill or most used vampire skill? It used to be mist form. Now I guess it's still mist form. So that's but it's different. Imperial reduces all ability costs. That's another important consideration too. And if you're a vampire, you have to consider it the opposite too, because now you're going to have higher costs. Or if you're running a set that is going to give you those increased costs, those are all things you guys have to consider. I'm so proud that you guys are thinking out loud on these things because it's this is the dialogue that I think makes you the best ESO player. Not necessarily because you're going to go out and magically stumble across the best sets in the game, but you're learning the confidence to see all of the things that go into these things. So you'll always, when you're in a situation where you're getting outdone or you're getting frustrated, you're not just going to, throw in the towel and go, I don't have the right sets or anything. You're going to start with, maybe I need to tweak my Mundus Stone. Maybe I need to tweak my food. Maybe I need to tweak my potions. And I think when you're at that level, you have the confidence then to really go on and succeed in ESO. So I'm proud of you guys for putting those dots together. And I'm proud that we were able to have this dialogue. You guys know I love all of you. Not equally, that would be unfair. Just kidding. I love all 12,897 subscribers equally, You guys are all equal in my head because I love you all to the maximum. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm just kidding. Pretty please. With the ice cream on top and cherry. Have a good night to you too, Pat. Any other questions or anything before I let you all go here? No pressure, obviously. Well, I'll be back later, don't worry. We'll probably stream together on Saturday, I'm thinking, because I have cleared off my weekend to be available for you guys. So I'm thinking Saturday, we'll have a stream. Maybe a video also. I'm just getting crazy with it. I don't mind. Videos and streams on the same day. Let's get wet and wild. Am I right, fellas? So, might do that also. We'll see. I appreciate also those of you who are just like waiting for me to pull the cord, end the stream. It's like, do it. I'm staying until the end. I don't care. I appreciate that. I appreciate that there's some troopers here that are in it to the end. Good night, says JML. Good night. So I am going to cut the cord here. I'm going to let you guys go back to your nights. You guys can watch your sporting events with your loved ones. Hopefully I haven't kept you guys for too long. Thank you for the good night, Ella. Samuel says do it. So on that note, only because Samuel said it, we're going to cut the stream. So I'm just kidding. Obviously, I love you. And but I will see you guys later. I enjoyed this a lot. And I will see you guys tomorrow.